And we should be live now. Hi everybody, welcome to the third week in a row of Userone Talks. Am I using the right microphone? It really does not seem that way. How does it sound, ladies and gentlemen? How does it sound? Because you might notice there's a difference in my voice. I'm not as loud as I usually am. That is because I am actually sick this time. I'm actually sick and tired of everything. No, I'm sick of the cold, okay? I'm sick of the cold. A common cold, hopefully. I lost my appetite. I can't. It's kind of difficult to force myself to eat, and have to blow my nose every once in a while. But don't worry, okay? I know that's disgusting to look at or to hear. I'm gonna mute myself, and I'm gonna turn off the camera when I have to do that, okay? Alright, let's make sure we're live. I don't expect this stream to go without issues as usual, but that's fine. That's just how it is. We'll power through it and we'll be just fine. For some reason it's not the top. Usually when I stream it becomes like the top suggested stream in my channel, but it isn't. That's interesting. Also it says it's unlisted? Why is it unlisted? Why is my own stream unlisted? Right, well, we'll have to fix that. That is not what the point of the stream is. Huh. So, how do I... Yeah, I am live now, but why is it unlisted? That doesn't make any sense. No, why is my stream right now unlisted? Where is the stream now? Now the stream is just gone. There it is again, okay. So, can I... Here's the dashboard. There's 2 likes. How are there 2 likes on the stream that is unlisted? That does not make any sense. What is happening right now? Okay, let me just... Okay, privacy unlisted public. There we go. Can we... Does it change automatically? I hope so. I hope it changes automatically. Okay, there we go. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good night. Let's look at some of the upvoted suggestions that we have. And we have had a couple of issues with the whole concept. We weren't very clear about where we're going and the focus of it. But let's have a look, okay? Let's have a look at what we have now. So, there we go. Beautiful. So, if we're gonna have a look at what's going down, we have a couple of likes and dislikes. So the way we're calculating which one we're gonna talk about every week, at least the idea, is that we're gonna take the likes, we're gonna subtract the dislikes, and that's gonna be the points or the score of the suggestion. So the suggestion with the highest amount of points or score is gonna be the one that we're gonna talk about, because supposedly that's the one that most people want to talk about. Poop emoji does not count as a dislike, so we're gonna be strict with our rules, because as we've talked about them more, we have established that it feels unfair when rules are not being enforced strictly, because some people get favoritism and others, they get treated how they're supposed to be treated. So it's basically, obviously there should be there's always going to be a bias to some extent, but we want to control that bias, and we want to hold administrators accountable if they're found to be biased to some people. So for that reason, we want to enforce strict rules. But at the same time, strict rules have their downsides, and I'll get to that further on in the stream. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's go and have a look at the suggestions that we have. First, character roles. So this one has 11. Let's just have a look at which one is the most prominent. This one is 10 because it's 12 minus 2. This one is 3. Players role playing in a very realistic manner. 1 and further up here. I mean, we have some suggestions, but at this point we didn't really have any structure. I think this was before I made how to make suggestions more defined. So I believe, yeah, there we go. How to make suggestions. I updated it only on the 10th of September. So anything before that, it was kind of willy nilly. It's not really productive to look at these because if you look at Red County Roleplay Police faction, tell them to actually fix their shitty faction and listen to people. That's not productive. Okay, that's just not productive to say because it's not specific enough, and it's pretty much just an insult. Okay, so let's not look at that. Let's look at the what's the most suggested here. This one has 12 likes, 2 dislikes. This one has so that's a 10 points. This one has 11 and a poop emoji. Okay, a poop emoji, if you consider it a dislike, that's 10 points. Okay, but if you don't consider it a dislike, it's not a dislike because there you go. You vote for suggestions with likes and dislikes. Okay, you don't vote them with poop emojis, so we don't consider it a dislike. Okay, that's how we're gonna enforce. We're gonna enforce them strictly because when we do it vaguely, we might interpret some things as dislikes, but we might interpret other things as not dislikes. So it's gonna get vague and confusing, and what's gonna end up happening is people are just gonna wind up not be feeling cheated because they are being treated differently than other people. We want to avoid that. We want to treat everybody equally. So, if you'll excuse me for a moment, I actually need to blow my nose. So, just one intermission, real quick. Okay. Somebody's asking, Sebastian Loco is asking, what's up with the suits? Well, I want to give this a formal attire because I want to distinguish the fact that I am taking this seriously. This is a serious issue for me. I've dealt with this issue for 5 years now, and the problem I see is that I can't even log on or play the game because people just end up. Well, what happens? What my problem was is I, at least to my belief, at least to my understanding, it was that if I experimented with roleplay, which was, the whole appeal of roleplay for me was entertainment and creativity to do anything, to be any kind of roleplayer. But LSRP is clearly going for more realistic, and what realistic means is stereotypical, which I don't support necessarily 100%, because in my opinion that means that people, they get treated differently based on how stereotypically accurate the characters are to the stereotype they're trying to represent. It's a complicated issue. It does not have a simple solution. That's why I'm taking it seriously. That's why I'm trying to actually solve this issue. So that's why I'm putting on a suit. It's a I think it puts on a certain a certain precedent for people to realize that if they come in here and if they troll around, they're gonna get banned. They're gonna get banned, and then they're gonna have to go through our court system. Okay? Yes, we have established a court system, and we're gonna take it seriously. Okay, people. So what we're looking at, so we're not considering poop emoji a dislike. So technically, this one is the top-rated one by Almighty Calculator. So let's have a look. Forced character roles. I have not read this one yet, and how it leads to stagnation in relationship and retardation of roleplay with an apostrophe. Okay, I don't like his use of the word retardation because, well, I don't know how accurate it is. So let's have a read first. On also be impossible, and possibly on other SAMP roleplay servers, only a handful of characters are allowed. What I mean by that is that plenty of people only have the mindset that America has these sort of societal roles: a white cop and an African Mexican gangbanger. Well, you see, I'm gonna stop you right there because that's not necessarily the truth. My Hispanic character, my Hispanic female character, was allowed into a sheriff's department. Yeah, sure, she wasn't allowed in afterwards, based on out of character reputation. But I don't believe this statement is the most accurate way you could portray this. But again, this is addressing the problem that a lot of people have a perception of stereotypes specifically in Los Angeles roleplay and maybe some other roleplay servers. Everything outside of the norm is frowned upon and even hated and blamed. That I agree with. Not necessarily everything, but there's the stereotype of a troll And unfortunately, there are these people that actually do legitimately troll with weird, wacky characters, and they don't follow the rules, and their purpose is to disrupt roleplay. That is a problem, but there are people who are legitimately role playing something that you would describe as a weird or wacky character, and though they are being grouped up with the trolls, and that is a problem. You're pretty much letting the trolls. What's happening there is you're pretty much letting the trolls uh, dictate how you're gonna play your game. You're pretty much letting the trolls be at the top and decide what's gonna happen, and that's not right. You shouldn't be letting people who are there to disrupt roleplay to tell you how you're supposed to roleplay. And it, but the point is, since I started, roleplay unit, I've been running it for 3 weeks now. This is the beginning of the third week, and well, I've gotten a lot more respect for the administration team because myself, here are the Discord rules, okay? Uh, I'm trying to make them as non-vague as possible, while but there are still issues. So let me actually show you an issue that I ran into personally. So, for example, if you look at the first rule, no discrimination of any kind, that seems pretty straightforward. Anyone found to be intentionally discriminating against another member due to their ethnicity, gender, etc., will be banned for 7 days, doubled every repeat offense. So, where does the trouble come in? Well, there was a situation in the general chat. Let's have a look. Okay, this is a general chat. It doesn't really have any specific rules on top of any rules that Discord has. This is supposed to be a chat where people can just come and have a chat. That's just hang out, you know. The suggestions discussion one is the more strictly enforced with actual rules that you can't be off topic in the suggestion discussion, and that's even a whole other ball game in itself. But let's have a look at general chat. What we have here is a small issue between Oak and Kingsley. Kingsley said, "This is a civilized server, you Glasgowian fog." If you don't know Glasgowian, it means somebody from Glasgow, from Scotland, I believe, somewhere there. He called him a Glasgowian fog. Is that discrimination? Because you see, I know they're just messing around. I am aware that they're just messing around. I'm pretty okay. Let me rephrase that. I'm very certain that they're just messing around. I don't know the truth. All I know is what I can see, what I can perceive. So, is Glasgowian fog discrimination? Well, let's look at discrimination again. Anyone found to be intentionally discriminating against another member due to their ethnicity, gender, and etc. So, it's not an ethnicity. Glasgowian is not. Is it an ethnicity? Okay, you know what? Let's have a look. How about we open a new tab and define an ethnicity? I don't know everything. I'm not a human walking encyclopedia. So, the fact of a state belonging to a social group that has common national cultural tradition. So, Glasgowian in this definition would be an ethnicity, according to Google Dictionary. Is that a thing? Google Dictionary? No, it's Oxford Dictionary. Okay, I trust Oxford Dictionary. So the fact belonging to a social group has common national. So this would technically qualify as discriminating against another group due to their ethnicity, would it not? Uh, but the thing is, uh, an Oak. Well, first of all, Oak, I can tell his attitude. I can tell. I want to judge people by their intent, by what they're trying to do. And Oak, a moment ago, he tagged me. He said, "Give me a Remy." And I've warned him as I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to warn somebody before I issue any kind of punishment according to the Discord rules. I made that mistake before. I punished somebody too early, and I actually had to reach out to the other administrator to punish me. But he gave me a warning. Okay, look, it's complicated. I'm trying to. The point I'm trying to go up is I'm trying to hold administrators accountable. Everybody should be under a rule. And since I started this whole thing, I have gathered a lot more respect for administrators. Now, if you'd excuse me, I need to blow my nose for a second. All right, we're back. I'm really sorry. I just happened to be sick at this time, and yeah, it's just something I have to deal with. It's not something I can predict or do anything about. I'm taking medication, obviously, but that's all I can do. So, like I was saying, discrimination is a pretty big issue. I wonder if I can actually get somebody who applied for the administration position. So if you don't know, we opened up the forms so you can apply to become a staff member on the roleplay union community. So if you want to become a helper or a tester, not a tester, sorry, I'm thinking LSP. No, helper or moderator. Yes, those are the two roles that we have right now. Helper is going to be for those that cannot prove that they've been a moderator on a hardcore roleplay server before, and moderators are for those that can. Obviously, you can become a moderator later on as prove that you are, an able helper, an able staff member, able to enforce the rules, able to try to keep the Discord in check. So, again, back to this issue. At first, I thought no discrimination would be pretty simple, but then we have this issue where Oak is saying, "Hey, I was racially abused." Now, I personally think that he's joking. I personally think that he's joking, but my opinion is irrelevant because my job is not to enforce my opinion. My job is to enforce the Discord rules, okay? And to make sure that we're treating everybody equally. So I'm not going off of my opinion. I'm going off of Discord rules. And the problem is that the Discord rules that I made myself are vague in this instance. Well, not really. Anyone who intentionally will be banned for 7 days, doubled after every repeated offense. But that being said, is this discrimination? Would you guys think that, say, calling somebody Glasgow fog, Glaswegian fog, discrimination? I mean, it's not. I looked it up. It's not a specifically regional kind of a dialect, and that's whole nother bucket to delve into. So this is a big topic. This is a topic about how rules are enforced, and this is a complicated issue for me. So I think in this instance, so what I did in this case is I literally created a courtroom. Here we go, and I invited them both into the courtroom. Oak, the guy that claimed that he was discriminated against, immediately went offline after I invited him. So at this time, I don't think I have enough evidence to prove that Kingsley intentionally discriminated against Oak. So I'm not going to punish him straight away. But if Oak wants to bring that issue back, if Oak wants to continue pressing the matter, he can do it. He can reach out and he can do it. And we're going to have to figure it out because I literally just started this thread because this issue just sprung up before the stream. So yeah, there you go. Cool. We're literally going to have a courtroom and we're going to deal with it through the way that courtrooms deal with in real life. Why? Well, because it's more fair that way. It's, in my opinion at least, it's a little more fair that way because you look at the evidence. You look at the evidence, you can prove somebody's intent. And in my opinion, if you cannot prove somebody's intent that they were intentionally breaking a rule, then you shouldn't punish them for that. Because then you could be punishing an innocent person. So, unless I have indefutable evidence that somebody is breaking a rule, I'm not gonna punish them. That being said, we do have rules against, excessively disrupting people, and that is pretty easy to prove. When you're spamming shit, when you're going out and of TV way to be disruptive, that's pretty easy to prove. There's video recording, there's screenshots, and we post all of that stuff into evidence, and then you can still appeal that. Or you can claim that you didn't do it, in which case we'll review the evidence and have a look. But the point of this whole thing, the point of it all, is that we are trying to create a system which is more fair towards a person, and in turn, we are trying to make a system where a player is not mistreated. A player is given every chance they can be given to appeal any unfair punishment and stuff like that. I'm not saying that servers out there don't have that kind of system in place. Most servers do have a system in place where reach out to a moderator. But for example, in Red County Roleplay, at least when I was in Red County Roleplay, what happened was uh, you would have to appeal your ban with the administrator that banned you, which I felt like was weird because obviously that's like having your plaintiff be the judge, the person that accuses you of a wrongdoing be the judge at the same time. I feel like it opens up a window for. I'm not saying that it necessarily leads to corruption, but it could potentially lead to corruption. We're trying to minimize that window. We're trying to minimize the window where corruption could happen. We're trying to hold everybody accountable, including the lead administrators and the moderators and the helpers and the supervisors. They are all going to be held accountable for their actions, just like the members of the community. So, I understand why some people are poking fun on this issue, and I actually appreciate it. I actually appreciate the comments that some people are leaving because they're actually a great insight in what's wrong with the system. In some cases, it's just gibberish just to get attention, but in some cases it's actually bringing us an insight, and it's teaching us how to deal with that sort of a problem on a greater scale. So let's actually hop into the interview room because we just had a look at this top suggestions. So let's have a look at the top suggestion. Actually, let's have a top suggestion again. So again, I don't necessarily agree with. I'll hop into the interview room later. Actually, I don't necessarily agree with everything that's being said here, because not every police officer in LSRP is white, for example. Not every gang member is either an African or Mexican. Some of them are also white. But I do agree with the general idea that what ends up happening is stereotypes are really supported in roleplay. And I don't know if that can be fixed at all. But I mean, I know for a fact that we're not going to fix the issue of people judging people based on stereotypes. That can't be fixed. But what we can fix is how the quote-unquote governing agency, in this case the administrators, handle it. Again, we are not trying to impact LSRP at all. We're trying to see if we can create a system in which this will be a lesser issue, not just an invisible issue, not a non-existent issue, because that's impossible. But we're going to try to limit that issue as much as possible. Let me actually finish reading the suggestion though. What I want to see is diversity of roleplay. I want players to experience the freedom that only strictly text-driven roleplay is able to provide. You see, I agree with that completely. I feel like, text-focused roleplay has so much potential because you're literally basically writing a book. You're writing a story, which can be anything. It can be anything, and we're restricted in this context. We're restricted to the realms of reality, but we don't have to. It can be Dungeons and Dragons as well. It can be anything at all, and this creativity is, I think, what appeals to many people who roleplay. So restricting that creativity, which is in practice what happens when you punish people who are different, is problematic because it kills creativity. It kills people trying to be creative. Because you fall into a specific stereotype that we didn't mention before in the rules section. That's a problem. That is a problem in my opinion, and this is the problem that I'm trying to address with the roleplay union. So let's actually finish reading it. There are definitely plenty of character tropes that real life has, from crackheads to other homeless fiends and refugees. I think LSRP has lost touch and grown too tight on these roles I previously stated. This comes from a player that has already tried to break out of the norms by role-playing homeless characters and so on. Yes, okay. So, I absolutely agree with this notion because I've actually tried to do something different myself, and I've been met with out of character barriers. You see, if see, okay, all right, let's just talk for a moment. My character was out of character wise kicked out for not having a good enough out of character reputation. That just killed me. Okay, that literally it didn't literally kill me, but it killed any creativity or hopes of creativity I had because if it had happened in character wise, if an in character supervisor came forth to my character and said, I have a problem with you, that wouldn't be a problem for me because then, at the very least, I it would be a part of my character story. But I even reached out. I even reached out to the sheriff's department in the LSRP and I asked them to give me an in character reason as to why my character is out of character was denied. And I think I can actually show you the response that I got. I don't know if it's a good idea in general, but I actually do want to show you this because I don't want this to just be hearsay. So okay, I'm actually looking at APM right now. Okay, there we go. I found it. I found it. Okay, I'm not gonna mention any names, but I'm gonna show you the actual response that I got. Okay. So there you go. In answer to your question regarding an in-character termination reason, so my question was, can I have an in-character reason for my out-of-character termination? Because my out-of-character termination wasn't because I broke any rules. No, it was for a vague reason that I have a bad out-of-character reputation. That's it. Okay, fair enough. I did make one mistake. To be fair, okay, full disclosure, I did make one mistake, and that was I failed to disclose an admin jail, which later was voided. I didn't think I had to. So that's fair enough, but still, I had an out-of-character termination and I wasn't provided any in-character reason, so that kind of staggers my story, and I have to come up with my own reason why it happened. But listen to the response. In answer to your question regarding an in-character termination, the short answer is no. While it is while it is admirable for you to try to continue to proceed in an in-character manner with your character Gloria Mendoza, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department shall not twist, bend, or otherwise fabricate an anecdote to accommodate these desires. That kind of, it's almost insulting to me. It really is almost insulting to me that my story is seen as an anecdote. And because of that, you are able to go out of character and go, no, we're not going to twist and turn for your anecdote. Doing so would result in a breakdown of accuracy of our records. They have to maintain accurate out-of-character records on top of in-character out-of-character records. But at the same time, they're trying to convince me that they are an in-character governing agency, right? An in-character governing agency. An organization that exists in character, enforcing in-character laws and not out-of-character rules. An organization that which purpose is to represent law enforcement in character-wise and not enforce out-of-character regulations. It kind of seems like a discrepancy to me because, let's see the rest of it, which would amount to a scandalous violation of professional standards that we hold ourselves on an out-of-character basis. They're holding themselves up to a professional standards on an out-of-character basis, and yet people are asking me, hey, why are you taking this serious? Why are you putting on a suit? Because this is a professional corporate issue. At this point, I am human resource management, trying to decipher this enchantment crafting table language. I'm trying to understand why an in-character organization is able to fire you on an out-of-character basis. I mean, fair enough, I forgot to mention something, but are you able to go out of character without any admin involvement? That just seems kind of, rude to me. It seems that, and especially I'm calling it an anecdote, it seems, I mean, it's honest, and I appreciate honesty by all means, but at the same time, it reminds me of something, okay? Let me just show you another thing. That I had to experience. Let me show you something. I have it in my evidence folder. So if we look at some message that I got, there we go. Okay, so this is what it reminds me of. Okay, if you look at Michael Houston's message to when I was first fired from Los Angeles Police Department, they said extensive admin record. Command also don't want you representing my faction in the same way you represent yourself in your YouTube videos. So again, reputation matters more than the truth. They don't care about. He did say extensive admin record, and fair enough. I did have some admin violations at that time. Actually, let me have a look. Let me have a look how many admin violations I had at that time. So, if I go to the reasons I got, admin jailed and whatnot at that time, I'm gonna have a look. But don't worry, we're gonna get to interviews in a minute. I actually do want to interview different people and have different opinions, but I want to just address this for a moment because I don't think I brought up this before. So if we look at the date that was published, that was July 16th, 2016. Okay, so we're looking for violations before July 16th, 2016. Um, I did have I have a very interesting admin history. Fair enough, alright? Fair enough. I do have interesting admin history, but it's not very accurate to what I was actually doing. So if you look at the admin history, which is why I bring up the point that not necessarily, I don't think it's always just to judge somebody by their reputation, by their records and whatnot, because I have never cheated. I have never cheated. I have never cheated. Period. I have never cheated. Yet I have cheats in my history. I have using illegal modifications in my history. I remember this one. This one was when I used a first person mod to record an interview. And again, the rule against the first person mod. Let me just bring it up because I've read the rules. I have read the rules so many times. I feel like I'm the only one reading those rules because administrators certainly don't punish people based on those rules. They punish people based on what they think is common sense. And it gets vague and gets confusing. Like, how many times have you seen people get punished for bat versus gun when it's not a rule listed in a rules section? It is simply not a rule listed in the rules section, and it never was. It never was a rule listed in the rules section, yet people get punished for it. And if you look at use of third-party modifications, their rule has not changed since that time. What was it? Use of... Am I the one? Yeah. In-game rules, yeah. What is it? Third-party modifications. That give you unfair advantage over other players are not allowed. So first-person mod was allowed at that time, and in fact, first-person mod is allowed at this time. It did not give me any unfair advantage, yet I was punished for it. So that's the issue I'm trying to address. That's the issue I'm trying to fix, because, well, I don't expect the LSRP to do anything about it. Again, I'm trying to sort this out so that if I decide to start my community, or if somebody else decides to start the community, they can look on this fix that I will develop eventually and use it so that people feel like they are more fairly treated. I think I've gotten off track a little bit, and I do apologize for that. But yeah, it is a complicated issue. It gets very complicated, but as you can see, uh, I have a lot of things in my admin history that are voided, including the cheats. If you look at let's actually search for the word void. Previous admin jail voided, voided admin jail for 18 power gaming, void last, and yeah, there's a few of them. This one doesn't count. It's avoiding AFK system by animation. That was a complicated issue. I wasn't intentionally avoiding AFK system by animation, but that was the practical term. I'm not complaining about that. Give me a second. I need to blow my nose. I just realized my mic was used all this time. Okay, I do apologize for that. Okay, let's don't worry about that. So, like I said, we're gonna be going into the interview room, and I just like to remind everybody of the policies that we have in place. The discrimination of any kind, there was an issue with it earlier because we're not sure if it was intentional or discriminative. I can assure you that if somebody uses a racial slur, it will be treated as discrimination automatically. Also, do not be intentionally disruptive or spamming. During the stream specifically, you will get a ban, which you will have to appeal later on. And we also have to not be disruptive in any way that would be considered attention seeking. So don't go out your way to shout people out. You will also get banned. Or you will get. Well, okay, according to this, you will be lightly warned, but you will be met with a ban if you continue to do it after being warned. So we have the interview room and we're gonna open it up now. Boom. It's now open. Let's see who we have. Welcome, welcome. Hami?
Oh, hello.
Hello, welcome. I'm gonna give you
Hello there.
I'm gonna have you have the interview access so you can go to the interview room and post anything you wish. But
Yeah, sure thing, man.
yeah, so tell me about any kind of issue where you feel like you've been wronged on a hardcore roleplay server.
Alright, so basically, I play in RCRP and I've been playing here for around 2 years now. And like, I've got to experience a lot of RP situations and out of character situations, and I've gone through everything. So I had a few issues, and I noticed some of them because it's mostly out of character and like in character. It's mixed. Like, let me explain this. I've seen people taking actions for their characters by basing on their out of character reason. Like, I also made a suggestion on this, and I mentioned you as well. I didn't want to say, like, you are a bad guy, that you did it bad, but I just took you an example because I admire you and I like your role. So I just wanted to sort it out with you because I see you're the great guy. I mean the right guy to sort the problem.
Okay. Alright, let's see if we can. There's a bit of a feedback. Do you think you can mute your microphone when I speak? Because there's a bit of a feedback.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's okay. So basically, you made a suggestion in this Discord. You made a suggestion in the Roleplay Union. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's have a look at it. Okay, I see your suggestion. It got actually 13 likes. Now, this one is the most voted one, so we can actually discuss two suggestions that were most voted. Uh, let's have a okay. Let's have a read. So, can you summarize the suggestion yourself?
Could you repeat that?
Can you summarize your suggestion?
Oh yeah, sure. So basically, I told you earlier when basically people take action for their characters basing on their out of character reasons. Like if you get pissed in real life, you decide to take icy actions for your character. Like I saw your video and I like it, but I noticed a problem. Like you were driving on a Route 25, I think, going towards Los Santos from Las Venturas to Los Santos, and you saw people driving in the incorrect lane, which mostly and almost caused an accident twice to you. So you got pissed off in real life and decided to ram a guy, and you called it on purpose. Like you got pissed in real life and you took it in character. That's also
Purposely.
like most people do. Like in game, someone in like this is not a situation. Let me explain. When you're in game, somebody comes to you and he insults you or does any other thing that provokes you, and you decided to bring a brawl or anything. Even that you're playing as a calm character that doesn't like fighting, but you get pissed in real life, and like you think fuck you and think sorry for cussing, but like I'm trying to explain it. Like he comes to you and you're all playing as a calm character, but at the end you just start to brawl with him just because he said something and you got pissed in real life. Like that's what I'm trying to
Okay.
say.
Okay. Let me actually. I know the situation that you're that you're talking about. Specifically, I know that I actually remember what happened. And let me just explain my side of the situation. So, I just felt like role playing my character. Like, yes, I did intentionally ram them out of character wise, but I felt, and I think I actually said in the video, I I was role playing that my character was trying to swerve out of the way of the person going on oncoming lanes, because it's not realistic to go on oncoming lanes unless you have a really good reason to specifically go onto these oncoming lanes. It's really stupid and it's really silly. So I felt like out of character wise, I should have punished them in a way. Uh, that being said, I agree with you that it's not the best way to go about it. But at the time, I felt like this was the proper thing to do, because, and I don't think I actually broke any rules doing that. Because while I, out of character wise, intentionally swerved into them, my character, roleplay wise, swerved away from an oncoming, from a person going on oncoming lanes, and I don't believe that to be unrealistic. What do you think about that argument?
Yeah, I think you're actually right. But yeah, I saw that you did that, and I kind of understood it because like you also had I see a reason to do it, but like we never see what people mean, so we have to be open-minded.
Uh, I'm a little confused about what you mean by that.
Sorry for muting. Like I'm just in the street right now, and I'm
Oh, wow.
trying to attend the interview. So yeah. All right. So let me explain. So you basically had an also icy reason to ram them because you were trying to punish. Because yeah, it's also non-realistic, and also in character, it's illegal to drive in the incorrect lane of travel because they can cause many accidents from a minor issue to a major. So basically, yeah, I agree to you as well. But from I saw with the video, your real life expression was so hard. Like you said, "Arr!" and you screamed a bit, and like you got pissed and said, "Oh my god!" And then you ran them, and you called it on purpose. Yeah, you also justified that, and I needed to justify. All right. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like yeah, I also said in the beginning that you might
Could,
have not meant it to judge your icy character with your out of character
could you
feelings.
could you could you
Yeah, that's true.
summarize?
But some people do it.
Okay, could you summarize your point? Because people taking in character wise actions based on their other character like status, that's kind of a given, in my opinion. Obviously, people are going to do that. If somebody is mad at somebody else out of character wise, unfortunately, they're gonna take some in character action. Obviously, we have the corners rule, and that rule basically says that you're not supposed to uh, act on if you're friends with somebody out character wise, you shouldn't be friends. You don't necessarily have to be friends with them in character wise, and if you're enemies with somebody out character wise, you not necessarily have to be enemies in character wise. You are not your character. This is another mentality that we have to address. But what I want to ask is, what do you think is the way to enforce that mentality?
I think that to enforce the mentality, people should read more about what they roleplay. Like, I've been role playing as a gangster, not bragging here, but I've been role playing as a gangster for almost 1 year, like as a teenager. A teenager basically has problems, and at these problems, he goes through it, and he has to go through it to live on. And
Okay,
so
well,
the
listen, the way you described it is so vague that it applies literally to every person in existence. He has problems. He has to go through them. We need something more specific. And when I ask you about how do you enforce it, I don't mean what do you make every person do. No, I'm asking how do admins prevent it from happening? How do admins limit that? That's what I'm asking.
oh, so yeah, admins should basically enforce the rule and also stick it out that people should start reading more about roleplay
How do
and
you enforce
their
that rule?
character.
So when somebody joins, you're gonna have to force them to like read a big segment and then rewrite it in their own words. Is that what's gonna happen? I mean, it kind of already
No,
happens
like
in
I mean,
LSRP. To be fair, that's what they. It's part of the application system. They force you to read the rules and write them out in their own words.
yeah, but it's not the same thing in RCRP.
Isn't it?
We never in RCRP we never got to discuss about out of character and in character issues like that.
Well, that's interesting. He just disconnected. Uh. Oh, there he is.
Sorry, my
That's.
bad. Sorry.
But I think what I'm asking more is once that player has done that and proved that they can read. Uh, how do we? Well, for example, okay, let's look at this situation specifically. So ultimately do you agree that what I did should be allowed or should be prohibited?
What you did basically was mixed, in my opinion. All right.
Well,
So
that's
you basically
the
also
problem with
had
administrators is they can't just go mixed. They have a decision to make. Are they gonna enforce something, some kind of a punishment, or are they just gonna let it go? And that's what I'm asking you. If you were an administrator
I
and you saw it, would you enforce some sort of a punishment, or would you let it go?
I would definitely try to enforce it. Like I would post like a suggestion if I was an admin. I would discuss it with other admins and create a new rule about that. I
Okay,
mean, I think there is a rule,
so
and I
it's
think there is a rule about it, but it should be more enforced.
okay. So to be clear, what you're saying is what you would do instead of going up to me, the alleged rule breaker. You would go to other administrators and set a more specific rule. But what would that rule
Correct.
look like? Can you write that rule down in the interview room? So right now, just come up with a rule that would prohibit the act that I did that you believe is not correct. If other let's imagine for a second that you post a suggestion, administrators agreed with you, and they asked you to make a rule that would actually prevent that from happening in the future. So what would that rule look like? Can you write it out?
You want me to write it?
Oh yeah, you're walking out in public. Okay, well, just tell me. Just tell me what would that rule be, and I'll write it out.
Yeah. So basically, it would be whenever you log in game, you have to remember that you are not your character. You should always remember that you should take IC actions at all roleplay situations.
Okay,
I'm
this is
still
what I
thinking.
got. Is
Like,
that what you just said? Or should I
yeah,
amend something?
yeah. I can also like show examples, but that's the definition.
Okay, whenever you log in game, you have to remember that you are not your character. You should take IC actions at all role play situations. See, that is
Yes, and you have to.
extremely vague. Can you define IC actions? What does that mean? Just in character
All right.
actions? I mean,
So
aren't they? What I did was in character actions, so I didn't break this rule as well. You need to come up with a rule that would declare me a rule violator in that instance. Because you're saying I did something wrong, but I'm not. But you came up with a rule that doesn't make me a rule breaker still. So it doesn't actually change anything.
yeah.
But you made a useless rule.
Excuse me.
This rule is so vague that it doesn't define anything. What is an IC action? You basically said that whenever you log in game, you have
Oh,
to be in character wise.
yeah. That's what I like. All right.
But I didn't
So
break that rule. I
let's.
was in character wise at all times.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you broke the rule. Okay. I told you at the beginning. I mean, I just took it an example. Okay.
No,
An
no, no.
example.
But look, we're looking at this example. Okay, listen. Here's what we're doing right now. Okay, I am trying to create a system. I'm trying to see if I can make a system where you can make rules based on Okay, this is getting complicated. Okay, basically, what I'm trying to get at is you had a problem with the way I conducted myself in that instance, right? You said that I did a wrong, right?
I didn't say that it's wrong. I took it as an example.
Yeah, but you took it as an example of something being done wrong. Okay, do you have any other examples? Okay, let's go with that. Do you have any other examples where you believe somebody did something wrong and that should be amended?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
show me
also
the other
remember.
examples.
I mean, I don't have solid proof right now,
Oh,
but I can explain them
okay,
as like
okay. Let's
an
listen to your
example.
explanation. Fine.
All right. So basically, I remember once I was in LSRP. I used to play in LSRP, but I found it hard, so I stopped playing. I remember I had a brawl with one guy, and he insulted me in slash PMs and got pissed like in real life and started attacking me just because he got pissed in real life. And we had no interactions isolate.
Wait, okay, hold on. I got confused a little bit. So somebody insulted you.
Through PMs
Yes.
slash PMs, private message.
And then you got mad in real life and started attacking him. In
No,
character
he got
wise.
mad as well. He was like mad at me and started insulting me. I don't know why. And then he started attacking me.
So okay, hold on. So your example is somebody reached out to you out of character wise, started insulting you, and then attacked you.
Yeah.
Well, that's already breaking the rules. Two rules: common courtesy and deathmatching. So that's
Yeah,
already
that's
a rule
basically what
break.
I'm at
Well,
as well.
I need an example where somebody didn't technically break any rules, but you believe that they, you know, that they shouldn't be allowed to do such a thing.
Yes. Yeah, this is getting complicated, man.
It is complicated. That's the point. So you don't have any examples like that.
No, man.
Well, okay. Well, we're gonna move on to the next person. I want to thank you for helping me bring the attention to the issue. I actually agree with your suggestion and several of the things that you've talked about in your suggestion. Specifically, uh, people should not be acting based on their out of character emotions or out of character relationships with the people role playing the characters. They should be acting on in character. On the character relationships. The fact that you have feedback is really tripping me up right now. I'm sorry, but the point is that in character, you are not your character. You should separate yourself from your character and play as that character separately. Don't
Yeah,
think,
because
yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like if you role play as a gangster, you're not a gangster in life.
Yes, absolutely. That's definitely the case. There's a lot of people that forget that in many roleplay shows. It's funny
Yeah, man.
whenever they try to be tough because they are role playing a gangster. It's really hilarious. But thank you so much for coming. I'm gonna invite the next person in here. All right. You have a good day.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for your time. See you later.
Yeah. See you, man. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Hello?
Hello. Welcome.
Yeah, so,
So go ahead. Tell
um,
us about the time that you felt like a roleplay server, a hardcore roleplay server, has wronged you.
yeah, I'm actually a LSRP tester,
Oh wow.
and I got egged on to join the chat or the uh the call interview thing.
Oh well.
I was wondering, do you have any question?
Well, what did it take to become a tester? Let's start with that, I guess. What was the process?
I wrote an app. I don't know,
Growing up?
I just wrote an app, yeah. And
uh,
if you're like, if you do, if you, I don't know, if I don't know how to explain it, but if people like you, then you'll get it, I guess. And if you,
that sounds extremely problematic to me. Do you know why?
no.
What if people dislike you based on something that's completely out of your control? Like, what if you are from a certain country, right? What if you are of a certain ethnicity or a certain gender, and people dislike you because of that?
And we got people of all kind though,
That's good.
so
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Uh, is there?
we've got males, females. Like majority is probably people that aren't from UK or the US.
That's good.
I'm Irish myself, so
Well, I
there's
mean, that's
big diversity of people. So I don't think that ever happens. I meant like, um, obviously if you're doing the right thing, people are gonna like you, right? And at the end of the day,
obviously.
if you do stupid shit, um,
How do you
not
define stupid shit? Is that breaking the rules?
um, me actually, I like this time, like 2 years ago or this time last year, I did. Shout out aesthetic, by the way.
You're
Last
not
year.
allowed to shell people out.
Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. She
Okay.
just PM'd me. This like 2 years ago, like 3 years ago, back then, I actually broke like a shit ton of rules, like a lot. Like I did probably every hack in the book.
You were
I
hacking?
Yeah, like 3 years ago. This is ages ago, but I did
Wow.
all that shit. Like I
You know what I find interesting? So 3 years ago you were hacking and now you're a tester.
That's 3 years
About
ago, bro.
yeah 3 years ago. About yeah 4.5 years ago, I got kicked out of LSPD because my character was messing around with friends and I used slash tog color, which changes the color of your name from white to blue. Because everybody told me that's all it did, but it actually makes you be considered on duty, which I wasn't. So I was kicked out for that by Michael Houston himself. I tried to join the police department ever since, and I only recently was able to. Only recently I was able to do that.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
honestly, Userone, there's a ton of people that have it worse. Even though you're like, I know there's a couple people that actually, and I'm not gonna name names, but there's people that want to join PD actually, that are like law enforcement, whatever.
yeah.
They just can't because they came off on the wrong foot. And I understand like your talk color shit, like what happened. Obviously, you didn't know what it meant.
Mm-hmm.
They tricked you into doing it or whatever. That was an old era thing. Holding you against it for that long, that's out of my hands. Obviously, I'm not like high command or whatever of any law enforcement.
Well, so you agree that some people are treated differently based on how much they are liked, not necessarily by how much they
You mean
did.
like reputation
Yes.
reputation based on community?
Yes.
That's a sticky one, cause do you know what I mean?
Well, you did just say that some people got off on the wrong foot, and then all of a sudden, they're not allowed to do as many things as
No,
somebody
but
that got off on the
I'm a
right
great
foot.
example though, cause everyone. Do you know you had fireworks here last week, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I used to be sick mates with them. Um, and like not with him, but like with the friend group I was in, I used to do stupid shit like every day.
Mm-hmm.
Used to DM or whatever. Um, and like I built a reputation to where, oh, it's the guy that just gets a PF, Banavade gets a PF and shoots, right?
Okay.
Um, I had a really bad reputation. But yeah, it's fixable. I feel like if you do the right thing, right? Like if you do the right thing, you can fix it. I fixed it. I turned my shit around 180. Like I've had people like when I started getting close with people that like obviously played the server properly, and that was through SD, by the way. I don't think if it wasn't for SD, I probably I probably wouldn't be staff, honestly. 'Cause
Okay.
they gave me a chance to like show that I changed. That makes
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, I guess it does make sense. But what I'm wondering is, do you think that every person deserves a second chance?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Do you agree with the fact that Fireworks is not even allowed to appeal his bans at all at this point?
I watched it. I watched the stream last week. Um, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know. I don't know if he's trying to unban if he was lying or not. But like, he wasn't wrong about like there's people that did way worse and led worse things. And they're unbanned right now or like in the process. And I don't really agree with it.
Hmm.
That he gets the shorter end for what reason? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he wants, if he like, if someone wants to play again, um, I feel like they should be, but that's not within my hands. I'm not in the position to be like, oh,
But if you were,
I,
if it was within your hands, if you were to create your own community, how would you make it so that people wouldn't have this problem?
um, I just give second chances. Like, it depends. Do you know I'm not gonna name names, but you know people that like really go out their way to ruin people's experience in the game.
Of
Like,
course. But
and
the
like
problem the
they're like,
problem is, um, you know, sometimes you get a feeling that somebody's trying to do that, but what if you can't distinctly prove that that's their intent? Should you still punish
you
them?
you have to take the shot like there and then. You can't give it a couple of weeks just to make sure you're dead on. If you're an admin and you see someone DMing, you can't just be like, oh, maybe he's doing it because
But
like for
how
something
do you know
else.
they're DMing? How do you know the reason they're killing people? So DM rule, to clarify for people that don't know for whatever reason, is a rule that says you cannot kill without sufficient reason. How do you know the reason behind why somebody's killing people?
You ask them. And um, like admins are obviously able to find out easily if you're lying or not. About your reason, and honestly, you get this. You're able to tell straight away if someone's like DMing or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, I disagree that admins are able to always find out the true reason behind why somebody's killing people. Because I myself had a situation. Let me see if I can actually show it to you. I'm going to give you interview access so you can go to the interview room. I'm going to show you something that happened to me. Uh, Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, okay, here we go. So if I actually get like a good timestamp. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So this I actually live streamed my birthday on LSRP. I believe I was turning. Which year was this? I believe.
Oh, was that the one where you killed a bunch of people in the house?
Yes.
That
That's the
that that
situation.
like be honest with me, bro. If you were to go up on like say there was logs, go up on the logs and yeah, like you killed bare people.
Yeah.
Um, you think it was a mass DM.
I
Now that time who banned you? Was it Bara?
Well, let's have a look. I mean, I added a timestamp and everything, so we can see exactly who banned me. So the problem was somebody bust down the door with a firearm, and then
Yeah.
just a ton of people flooded in. And this is America. And at this point, my character was a law-abiding weapons owner, and there
Yeah,
were a bunch of
that's calm. And
friends.
basically you whipped out the thing and killed them all, yeah?
Yes. I killed them all, and I believe one of my friends ran into the crowd for whatever reason. I don't know why they did that, but then they came out of the crowd, so I thought they were one of the people that busted in as well. So I was just shooting everybody because they busted into my house. My character was shooting everybody because they busted into their house. And at that point, you justified to use lethal force because somebody just used a firearm to bust your door down and bust in. They could have easily overwhelmed my character and their friends.
Was it like I'm gonna watch this shit.
It was live, yeah. And I was actually unbanned literally an hour later. So I'm actually really grateful that I don't think I like at the
Yeah,
time I can
no.
understand.
You
I,
see what I mean here? Obviously, mistakes do happen.
oh yeah, I absolutely
And
agree that mistakes do happen, and that's
and
understandable from an administrative
do, do
side. It's understandable that mistakes do happen.
you
And
remember? Do you remember what I said about having to make a call at the time? That gives you a lot of pressure, especially like admins that are like going through their
yeah,
I don't know
I
TA
know
like
I know what you mean because uh, myself, I had to become an administrator on my Discord community because it's my Discord community. I have to administrate it, and I've had a fair few situations where I've had vague calls to make, like the one I mentioned earlier in the stream, and I've even made a mistake once. I incorrectly interpreted a rule that I made myself. I was supposed to warn somebody before issuing a punishment, which I didn't. So at that point, what I had to do is I had to go reach out to my the other administrator on the server and tell them to issue me a punishment. So I don't know. I'm gonna be more careful with the rules, and I actually have a lot more respect for administrators on any roleplay servers, even if they do make mistakes, because that's just human nature. I just wish they admitted they made mistakes more often. That's my problem. I just wish they admitted they made mistakes. I wish they took steps to remedy these mistakes. Because whenever I make a mistake, what I try to do is I try to see how that mistake happened, and see if we can remedy that. So, for example, I didn't read the rule properly. Maybe we can, issue some kind of a penalty system for administrators or moderators who don't read the rules properly before issuing them.
No,
Maybe.
obviously, to be an admin, yeah, you're gonna have to have a more than average common knowledge of the rules. Bending it is another story. Like having the freedom to decide is another story. But like to keep it short, yeah.
Yep.
Um, an admin has to make a call at the time. If you're coming up on the logs, right? If you're coming up on the logs, like Michelle Jefferson is killed, blah blah blah, and it keeps going, you're gonna have to stop it. Maybe you could freeze them and then ask then. I guess he kind of did jump the gun, whatever, right? He kind of did jump the gun.
Okay.
Um,
So what you're saying is we should have a system in place, but we cannot expect administrators to remember literally everything if it's a really complicated system. So what we need is perhaps a simple system, simple set of guidelines for administrators to use every time that they believe that there's a kind of a misunderstanding going on. Kind of like what
um,
officers have in their life, They detain somebody, they question them, something like that, maybe.
yeah, but it's never gonna be that smooth sailing. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It
That's
can't be
yeah.
that smooth sailing. It can't. I guess what they could do, and I think there is a verified discussion. Surreal did put one. I can't remember. Surreal did put one out for like
Well,
making rules more. What's the word? Like making them more
well,
this.
again, it's very vague which description, which thing gets actually discussed and which actually just gets stopped. Because I created a discussion on verified discussions actually, and I can show it to you. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, no, I know. I remember
When it's
Surreal.
okay to DM, it was called.
No, 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 no. I don't mean DM. I mean like our
When it's
rules.
okay
I
to
think
kill.
Surreal.
When it's okay to kill. That's the one. That's how it was called.
Okay.
But the problem is, the moment it actually had a lot of mixed opinions. It had opinions from both sides. People believing that I didn't break a rule, people believing that I did break a rule. It's about I started this issue because I started this discussion in the first place because I got admin jailed for the reason, quote, seeking reasons to deathmatch because my character, Michelle Jefferson, shot somebody who was actively stabbing another person in the street. That's why, and the reason they state
You know,
was because my character at that time did not have a firearms license. It was revoked because my character flew a helicopter under 800 feet, and that's technically a felony. So, my character did not have a firearms license, but she still carried a firearm because she believes that it's better to be in jail for an unlawful possession of a firearm, which is a misdemeanor, than to be dead and unable to protect yourself. So that's the justification my
but
character has.
bro, it's not. There's this thing, right? It's a problem that I've been seeing. It's not one for one with real life.
Well,
Like
Are you
it's not
saying are
one
you
for one.
saying people don't carry firearms illegally for self defense?
In real life, yeah, but this is a game, bro. Like half of the people don't
Well, you
know.
say that, but LSPD and a lot of, for example, my one of my threats for my illegal organization got denied because it wasn't realistic enough. So if your argument is it's not supposed to be realistic, then does not coincide with what administrators are trying to enforce. At
Well,
least in my
age,
experience.
the AGL or the revoking of your thingy.
No, I tried to make a faction called Davis Gang, and administrators argued that it was not realistic enough. That's why they stopped it. That's why they didn't let me have that organization.
That's out of my hands. You're gonna have to talk to Man Owen for that, but
And
um,
whenever I try to, I just get no response. Whenever I tried PMing. I mean, you don't expect me to start my own community as a first resort, do you? No, this was the last resort. I don't actually see any way to progress other than to literally start my own community separate from LSRP and try to do things differently and see if that works. Because this is literally the only way for me to progress or and to have any kind of discussion, in my opinion, because everything else so far has failed. So this is
okay.
like a neutral grounds where, in my opinion, at least the goal is to let everybody no matter if you were banned from the community, no matter if you feel like you're a member of the community or if you're an administrator of the community, everybody can come here and have a discussion. And then we can take that discussion, learn from it, and try to do something about it. At least that's the idea. What do you think about it? Do you think it's gonna lead
Um,
anywhere?
the reason I'm here is, and I'll be honest, was to answer some questions and also
Okay.
like to help uh people that fucking say that, oh, I'm not getting anywhere and I'm trying to change. Um,
Well, yeah, a lot of people believe that. Because, for example,
I,
again,
re-
back
I
to
reckon like the best way to do it, yeah.
yeah.
Do you know who Declan is?
Mm-mm.
He helped me. So I think the best way, obviously, is a roleplay server, yeah. And that's before you give me the argument that, not argument, but like the whatever, saying that why does it have to be screenshots? I feel like the standard of our community and to show that you're progressing or trying to change is role playing either with a faction or yourself and having a development thread to show that you've changed. I'm sorry for changing the topic, but that's what I wanted to come here and talk
Okay.
about today. Um. So yeah. So
But
here, like really helpful people like Declan or Royal, and they're all staff by the way, so you can approach them freely. Another person is like Weathers, Clockson. There's loads. You can always go to the staff team. Coral's another one.
well, my experience,
Oh,
whenever I message a staff team member, they don't typically respond to me.
if are you like completely genuine about it?
I don't insult administrators, aside from maybe when I get heated in
No, no,
2016.
no, not insult.
But
I mean, you have to, are you serious about like when you
well,
what do
yeah.
you inquire like for
Okay. Well,
improvement or what?
I can show you some of the messages I've sent to administrators that received no response.
Okay.
Let me have a look.
Do
So
you know
this
Royal
one,
by the way? He really helped me. He's like really known. Royal.
who?
Royal.
Royal.
Level 2 administrator
Uh,
on Los Santos
it's
roleplay.
possible. I'm not good with names. Look,
Oh,
I'll just post one PM that I sent about the declination of my faction. So perhaps you can have a look. And it did not receive any response. I sent
how do
it.
I see this?
Let me. Okay, I'll give you. I'm sorry. I'll give you an access to. You already have interview access. I'm gonna post it in the interview room. Oh, well, hold on. There's a limit. Okay, it's gonna be on limit. I'm gonna paste it in the paste bin, and then I'll give you a link. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, paste bin. There we go, and then I paste it. There we go.
Is it that long, bro? I can't count up to 8.
There we go. I'm gonna send you the link in the room. So,
Do you want to narrate it for me? I can't really read.
okay.
Like, read it out to me.
Hold on one sec. I just need to censor the name of the administrator that I'm sending it to, because I don't want them to be like attacked or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, there you go. So that should do it. Let's have a look. So basically, hi, a little disappointed about this decision. I do want to point out how you could have simply reached out to me about the issue with the PMs allegedly promoting metagaming. The idea of the PMs was that I tried to help new players create characters with the motives and the reasons behind joining the said organization, because I believe that there was... Okay, look, I'll just summarize it. Basically,
Okay.
they gave me a couple of specific reasons for why they declined my factions.
Oh, is it the Davis gang thing?
Yes. Yes. This is me messaging them about it.
What? I remember there was there was like something. What was your faction's aim?
Well, first, okay, I didn't actually finish making the faction thread by the time I posted it. I addressed only one issue
Nah,
of
but
them.
from you,
Well,
like
for
not
me,
written, like
it's well, we delved. You can see we actually uploaded a series about Jason Davis, the guy who started the organization, and before that I had William Davis, who was this guy who would kill people a lot. He was like a hitman. And
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
felt like his son would be interesting for his son to actually not be a hitman, to be a pacifist, to kidnap people, get ransoms, stuff like that. I thought that would be an interesting like subversion of a stereotype that all black gamers are violent thugs and killers. No, you don't have to be. You can be a you can be a pacifist gang member in a
Okay,
way.
okay, okay, okay.
But that was the
Okay, okay.
point.
So here's my
Yeah.
here's my epic like role play suggestion. Okay.
Okay.
I feel like the plot, it's not horrible.
Hmm.
I've seen worse. I would if I was you, yeah, and if you still want to pursue that, um, I'd go to like I wouldn't even go to faction management first. I'd go to ask anyone that'd be willing to spare time to help you out. But I would do like a screenshot thread first, like a screenshot and videos. See how that goes, and if you're able to develop that and it actually works out, then open up a faction. That's actually what a lot of factions do now. Like just to test the waters and see
Okay.
if um if it's actually feasible for like say other factions or like civilians or like other people on the server that
Well, okay.
if they fuck with it, you know what I mean?
I see what you mean. My problem with that is it's extremely obvious that the excuses they gave me are just not honest. It's just the excuses that were granted to me for why the faction was denied were just not honest. They told me about realism when there were factions far less realistic than my faction. The premises, they didn't give me a chance to do anything with the faction before just straight up declining it. They and it's very obviously done because of my reputation that I amassed in 2016, and ever since been trying to, once I realized that rules don't matter and what matters is whether you have a good reputation or not, I realized, okay, I need to put my foot down and focus on my perception, how people perceive me. And it pisses me
So you've
off.
gone away from this.
No, I've gone away from trying to focus on entertainment because that will
Okay.
make me a successful YouTuber, but that's not necessarily what I want. I want creative freedom. I want to be able to explore roleplay. Okay? I want to
Okay.
do something that I'm passionate about, and that is
Okay.
role
Okay.
playing character development.
Okay. And
Despite the
helping
fact that
people
a
in
lot of
character
people are
development
telling
and shit.
me that, despite that from the first glance it might not look like that's what I'm trying to do, it is. And now
Um.
my focus is trying to convince all the other people that that is in fact what I'm trying to do, and even that isn't working out. For the past 2 years, I haven't had any legitimate like bans, and still, it's an issue that persists to this day. I've had bans, but I don't
Um.
believe those bans to be legitimate. Like most of those bans were voided. Other bans were just ridiculous. Like, have you heard about the 45 days for what issue? We did not break any rules then. We got banned because we made the server look bad, which is not against the rules.
Okay. That's my suggestion. Make the screenshot thread. That I feel like that will solve it all.
I don't, I don't expect it to solve it all because I
I know.
have.
I swear to you, bro. That's literally all you have to do. Me, Declan, Royal, and Weathers. That's what we
Well,
did.
what about this? What about the thing that I just sent in the interview
SCP
room?
24. Which one?
The latest link that I just sent in the interview room. It's
Okay, okay.
it's a Jason's uh,
The
uh,
latest one.
yeah, it's basically a playlist of everything that Jason has done. For example, if you look at the kidnapping loft situation, I started off with a planning phase, something that nobody does, and that was supposed to be like,
I do that.
it's like we don't ever see that happening, and this is basically 60 screenshots per second. Is that why is it that I have to post it specifically to some kind of a screenshot thread? I don't see that written down in the rules section. Why do I have to struggle for 5 years to get these secrets out of LSRP? As a player, it's really difficult to have any kind of enjoyment out of it. And at that point, you ask the
Out of what?
question:
Sorry, you were lagging. What did you say?
uh,
Out of
get
enjoyment?
any enjoyment out of it when you have to struggle for 5 years to get any kind of response, when you spend so much effort messaging the administration and receiving no responses, basically getting ignored. This is extremely frustrating, and it leaves me with the question: is LSRP even worth my time? But when I really
Like, um, obviously I can't speak for them, but do you know, like for progress? Let's say let's put an example. Yeah, say your faction, the faction that you want to make. Yeah.
okay.
Um. Uh, I don't know. I can't say what I was gonna say without saying the admin's name. Fuck. Let me ask him first. Keep
Okay.
talking. Let me ask him first.
Okay. Well, the thing that I wanted to say is that uh, if see that even if there is like a screenshot thread which everybody's forced to send screenshots to, does that mean that a troll can't start sending screenshots to that thread and pretend to have a legitimate faction while they're just trying to disrupt roleplay? Uh, it's just a different medium. It's just a different format, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's all vague. It's like whoever is allowed to run a faction, that is vague in itself. And I am wondering if
It's not vague. Anyone can.
no, I can't.
Obviously,
I
no. But
can't.
the user, listen to me. Listen to me. The thing that you're aiming for is very different, and that type of area,
So I
it's not
cannot.
gray, but it. No, 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 no. Listen, listen. Let me talk, bro. Let me talk, bro.
Okay,
All right.
finish your point. Sorry.
So the area that you wanted to go in, and I hope you can agree, is not very common, right? There's barely any factions that do this. Maybe on the odd day, the Serbs will do it or the Russians will do it. But like to have a general focus on doing like crime that's under the radar,
That's
um, it's not like I guess you could argue, but like the way you described it to me earlier, I haven't seen a faction that's done that probably since 2015.
okay.
But I feel like you have the experience to approach it with a realistic point of view. The only way you can prove that, because obviously faction management shut you down straight away. I feel like without response, by the way, the way I feel like you could approach it is make a screenshot and videos thread, because I've never ever seen someone get shut down from that. Talk to level level 3 administrator Owen, and then he'll sort you out, and you talk with him. Like then you could probably make a faction to it. Like it's a very gray area. It's not very common, and I know
That's
you
my
can say
problem.
I agree.
Okay, that's my problem. The gray area. You have the white, everything that's definitely allowed. You have the black, everything that's definitely not allowed. Then you have the gray area. In LSRP, I think that gray area is too big. I think a
Yeah,
role
because
plays,
people don't really try new things. That's just how it is. People like to, I guess,
but it's
ride
a
the
role play
wave
server,
or
which allows
like
for
like
creativity. And I think
okay, but
appeal in a lot of people is the ability to virtually do anything that's possible in real
okay,
life in a role play
okay,
server in a video game. I think that's the
okay,
appeal.
okay.
At least it was for
Uh,
me.
okay. So, have you ever played let's see. Have you ever played League of Legends?
No.
Okay, so let me try putting this simple for you. Do you know what a meta is? Do you know what a META? Do you know what
Well,
that
I
is?
know what metagaming is.
Oh no, 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 it's not the same thing. But a meta is something that's in trend and something that is basically there's items you can get and there's builds that you can do,
Okay, I think I understand what
and
you mean. Yeah, I've
that's
heard
what
it before.
everyone would follow.
Hmm.
Okay, if you were to go outside of the meta and try something new, initially it will be looked down upon. No one will People be like, oh, this guy's fucking crazy, right? That's the initial thought.
Well,
To
yeah.
get everyone ride the wave, you have to prove, and it sucks, but that's just life. You have to prove that it's viable and that it's something that everyone can fuck with.
Well,
You know
you
what I mean?
just described what I'm trying to do with Roleplay Union. I'm just trying to
Okay.
prove
Well,
that we should
it's only a
have.
couple first weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's. This is the third. I'm like really sick, and I would rather be in bed. But this is the third week in a row we're doing it, and I don't think I've ever been dedicated to anything else. So that shows to me that it matters to me a lot. It matters to me to that I want to create an environment where you don't have to prove that your way of thinking,
But
which
then
is
that but
different.
you can't just bend around that, man. That's just how it is. And like, I'm not even siding with staff or anything with life. That's just how it is. If it's something out of the ordinary, you're gonna have to prove it, man. That's
Yeah,
just how it is. And when you prove it, that's probably the best
but
feeling ever.
yeah,
If
I
you're able to,
understand. Yeah, but the problem I have with that is it's just becomes frustrating for people that actually do that. It becomes extremely
well,
frustrating.
obviously, if you're gonna prove yourself, you think it's gonna be a free wave. It's gonna be smooth sailing. Obviously, no, it's not. And especially at the position that 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 you, I don't know if you feel like you're at, or if you feel like you're at like a position where you're kind of at a lower level. You prove like proving yourself is obviously gonna come with some struggles.
When people come onto a game and they see newcomers get treated differently than people who are veterans, like for,
That I'm against. That I am against.
but that's
Okay,
literally what you're
I I
describing.
I I
That
I,
you have to prove
I don't.
yourself before you can do
Um.
everything that a veteran can do.
No. I mean in your case for like the faction, like making it like for new players.
Imagine,
Actually, with League of Legends, I'm sorry for bringing it up, but it's a really good structure that they have. When you first join the game, and I don't mean this to anyone that's new, sorry for anyone out there. When you first join the game, when you go to the tutorial, it lets you know that you're shit. It lets you know that you're not good at the game. It tells you that you're gonna have to do these things, blah blah blah, step A, step B, step C, to get better at the game. It tells you that. It literally tells you that.
well, okay, I'm gonna
And
stop you there because League of Legends is a very specific game with its own set of rules. Uh, Roleplay is a little different.
you could
Roleplay,
put it into the same context though. You could. Wait, learning how to roleplay. I didn't know what slash me was
no,
when I
not, but
started.
not necessarily everybody who is new to roleplay server is new to roleplay in general. Yes, there are some of them that are, but even then, I don't think telling people that your shit is gonna be very
No. It
helpful.
doesn't say your shit. You know what I mean? I mean, like,
Okay,
it says
yeah, in
like
a polite
you're
manner.
a beginner. You're gonna have to learn this. Blah blah blah. That's how it is when you go into any game, right? Like you
I
can put it in
agree.
any.
My problem with that is when it's vague, when it's too vague, it creates a frustration. So I understand that there's a balance between creating an environment where it's pleasurable for veteran roleplayers to play and actually develop a character, and not have every single stranger being a wacky, mentally disabled individual, because that's not very
What did
realistic.
you call me?
Not you, no. I'm
Uh,
saying that when you play a roleplay server that has lenient punishment, what happens is most people roleplay mentally disabled, insane extremes. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, and that gets a little frustrating. But at the same time, uh, you want to allow for that to be a possibility because
Yeah.
it's a roleplay server, and it's one of the appeals of many people. Um, I don't know an answer to this, but I want to experiment with taking that gray area and smushing it down so we have more
I think you'll be
things.
able to have a sorry, finish what you're saying.
Yeah, so we have a bigger area of what is definitely allowed and what is definitely not allowed. We will always have some sort of a gray area that is never going away, but we can smush it down so that it's more clear what is allowed and what isn't allowed. That's my opinion. And it allows us for to create a system where administrators are held accountable if we find out that they are, taking like a specific person and they're discriminating against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. To work on this gray area though, and obviously another like a good example would be, say for example, you want to work on this gray area, not specifically for RP, but or for LSRP, but for like every single roleplay community as like in general, right? Not only LSRP.
Yeah, yeah. No, this
Okay.
isn't
Okay.
about LSRP. No, we're using LSRP as an example. What we're trying to do is we're trying
Okay.
to build a
Okay.
system. We're not trying to
Okay.
fix LSRP.
Okay.
We're not associated with LSRP at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So here's like so when you get a job, you get a portfolio. Yeah,
yeah.
you have a portfolio. You have to build up the portfolio to get to places where you have a say. that is sad, but that is just how it is. I wish that there could be a world where you could just say anything with freedom and your suggestion would be put into implementation and it actually gets put on whatever the final product
I
is.
see. So
Yeah.
you're comparing the way LSRP runs its
I feel
players
like
to a job. Uh,
um yeah, yeah, yeah.
so like a,
It is kind of a job.
so it's like a private organization basically. But what
A
if
private.
what if
No, no, no.
somebody
I
well
don't mean
a private
like
server
staff.
no. What I mean by that is a private server has the ability to ban anybody for any reason.
No, for reasons that
No,
if they
no,
break
they
the
can ban
rules.
anybody for any reason.
A private one.
Yeah,
You mean
a
LSRP?
private community can ban anybody for any reason, LSRP included. LSRP is a private community.
Nah, I don't.
Yes, they can.
Nah.
They are banning Clontex over and over. They're not giving him a
But
chance
you've
to get back
seen
in.
what he even said on his appeal. Like, he
Yes,
said on
but
his
again, there are people that did more stuff than he did, and they're allowed back in. So again, the point is they can, and any private community ever can ban anybody. I can literally go out my way and ban anybody on my Discord channel because I don't like them.
okay,
It's just a fact of life. Physically, I can do that. But what are the
yeah,
repercussions if I do that? People will see that. People will talk about it. And people will realize that I'm a tyrannical dictator and a bit of a dick, and they will leave. They will go seek another community that appeases them. And I think that when people think that way about Los Santos roleplay, and there are people that think that way about Los Santos roleplay administration, they end up leaving or doing even worse stuff that I don't condone. They end up going in DMing that community. A lot of people from DMU came earlier. They said that they hated the community, and for that reason they wanted to DM it to pieces. They wanted to kill it. They even were considering getting a DDoS machine and committing a federal crime of DDoSing it just so that the community would die. That's how much they despise that community. I don't believe that
okay,
they despise them just out of nowhere. I don't believe
okay,
that they despise
okay.
them just
Le-
nowhere.
le- all right, okay. Let's take it back a notch, yeah.
Okay.
Um, like I know a lot. Like I when I used to be a let's say a naughty boy on the server when I was a little naughty boy. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I was a
Yeah.
naughty boy in the server, I used to DM a lot, and I know a lot of these people. I won't even lie to you. I've heard of Rico, like all these other people, Chlorontix. What did they do on the server before they got banned? They did stupid shit. They DM'd still. They like obviously they wouldn't like go up, roll up to a club, and murdered like the whole club, but they would literally for no reason. They'd go out, go robbing, which I know you don't condone. I've seen it in your videos. They'd go out robbing
Well,
with
I don't.
PF guns, and then if they run away for the slightest second, they'll just dome them. And they did that rinse repeat for nights. They got banned, and I don't know how they got angry for it.
Well,
It's
you see my problem. Okay. My problem is that pretty much what happens is I get grouped up with them as well when I am not doing these things. Just because I do different things from the norm, I'm grouped up with the trolls,
no,
and
but
that is a
Userone,
problematic for me.
I feel like you're not like hated. I don't really feel like you're super hated, man. Like I feel like you could do a lot of shit, but you're just
You
you have
don't
to build
think
that
I'm hated?
portfolio. I don't
People,
really think you.
have you seen the videos that people are
Man, there are a
uploading?
bunch of there are a bunch of foreigners that, like, I'm
I
sorry to
like how
use
you
it, but
use
they
the
are.
word foreigners.
You, come on, listen. Am I wrong?
I am a
Let's
foreigner.
just loosen up,
Wha-
Userone.
What's
Take that
what's
suit off, bro. Take that suit off, bro.
what's the native country of origin for LSRP? Because it's role
Bro,
playing
you know,
An American country, but it's I believe hosted in France or England.
okay. I guess
What is the
foreign is the
native
wrong
country
word.
of
You know
origin?
what I mean, but you know, it's the people that go. It's the people. It's the people that want attention, probably are banned, and just want to bring you down. Yeah, and
And
that
they
probably
are
are.
succeeding because
No, they're
administrators
not.
are going up to me. They're telling me, "Oh, the community has spoken. The community has decided that you have a bad reputation. We're gonna ban you." Hold on one second. I'm gonna give 1 second.
Yeah, guys, for people watching the stream, if you want to know any people to go to help for, I'd go to like the main people are like Owen or Royal or Declan. Like they're the best people to go to. Best people to go to. Clarkson too is pretty cool. Use one, hello.
I'm sorry, I didn't
What
mean
was that?
me banned, but I wasn't allowed to make a faction, and one of the reasons they stated was
You're
because
I don't know if it's you lagging, but your mic keeps cutting out.
yeah, no, I had to take a phone call. I'm sorry, but
Like even now, like your mic keeps cutting out. I don't know if it's your voice activation or whatever.
it's
It's
possibly because I got a little quieter in general, because I can't trigger the voice communication because I'm sick right now. I guess I'll set it to be more sensitive. Thank you for telling me. Can I change
okay.
the settings? Okay, but yeah, like I said, one of the reasons I wasn't allowed to make my own faction was because a lot of people were on the thread, and they said things like they basically had negative things to say about my faction. I don't care. I don't care if somebody criticizes me for a non-specific for something that's not specific. If they actually have a criticism for me, then I will look at it. I will consider it. But if they say, fuck, give me a moment. I actually need to lower down increase the sensitivity for my microphone.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Uh,
okay. Is this better? Can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay,
I think
so
it's an internet thing anyway.
okay, I just changed the input volume to be low so that I hopefully it will be more sensitive. But basically, what I'm trying to say is I don't mind criticism. I actually respect criticism because it can tell me what issues I have, what issues I need to work on. I don't care about people telling me to, for example, kill myself or do things that don't actually help me get better, because it's just not productive. But administrators, they used that criticism as one of the reasons why they were declining, not allowing me to make my own faction. So they are pretty much allowing the trolls to dictate who is allowed to make a faction and who isn't. And that's my problem.
Okay. Why? Okay. Basing off of what I said earlier. Okay. Um, basing off what I said earlier, why do you think? And don't put. Try to think. Try to think in what I told you. Um, why? Not off of your own opinion, but what I said. Okay. Why do you think they didn't let you make the faction?
Because they don't trust me enough, because they looked at the reputation that I've gathered, and they've decided, oh no, I'm not dealing with this. I don't like some of the things that he has done in the past, so I'm not gonna let him make that faction. Am I
Okay.
correct?
That is completely correct. How?
Yes.
That is fixable.
I'm glad that we have established that. Now, hear me out. I have a problem with that. Okay?
Okay.
And that problem is uh, that is vague. That is vague, and therefore it's frustrating. That's why I want to reduce the gray area. That's why I want to make specific guidelines for people that may have made mistakes in the past, to make factions. And we don't want to make it vague. We want to have more specific guidelines.
But what if it isn't vague, but it's just that simple, to where the need for making stuff, to writing more stuff up and making more stuff explanatory. What if it's just really simple to prove yourself? Which it is. It's pretty simple. You just, in my opinion, on LSRP, to show that you're really serious and want to make a positive change, in my eyes, and it actually has worked. Take it from a first-hand experience. The best way is to obviously show that you know your ins and outs of roleplay, which is through screenshot threads development. Obviously, they didn't give you the faction thread. It's a bummer. It sucks. What you should do is make the screenshot and videos, because you're free to do whatever you want there.
I'll edit
And then
videos. I'll edit
no
videos
screenshot and
showing
not
role
in like
plays.
in the section on the forums,
I
like the
understand that, but uh, the problem I have with that is administrators judge me by my videos anyway. They have used my videos as many excuses to punish me in the past. And nobody. I've been role playing for now 5 years. I've started role playing on LSRP in 2014 August, and I started this YouTube channel in 2014 October 14th. So next month is gonna be my 5 year anniversary for my YouTube channel, where all I did was
Mercy.
show role play. Up until now, you the first one to suggest that I should post screenshots in a screenshot thread. It's
Yeah.
not written down anywhere that I have to do that to prove myself. And that creates frustration. You see, that creates frustration. And that in itself is vague. Frustration in itself is vague. How people get frustrated, that's also vague. But we can address that. And I think, it's most important to look at the people that are experiencing the system to see what gets them so frustrated and to address that so it doesn't happen in the future. At least that's my
Um.
idea.
Okay.
I
I'm gonna
respect what
explore
you're
more.
saying. I understand what you're saying. Is if I post a ridiculous amount of screenshot threads, people will believe me more. My problem
Uh,
is maybe somebody out there does not have enough time to edit screenshots, or maybe they don't edit them as well. They're going to be trusted less. They're going to be treated differently. That's my problem.
okay. Um. Okay. Okay. So, like I said, I'm gonna give an example. He's one of my really, really good friends. Do you know who Mercer is?
Uh, I don't.
Mercer.
It's
Mercer.
it's
His name's Mercer.
possibly possible that I
Mercer.
know, but I forgot the name.
He's he's jacked and he's from Albania. Anyway, so his name's Mercer, and um, so what he was kind of in the same thing. Obviously, he wasn't a content creator or whatever. He wasn't as known, but he did sorry, Mercer he was pretty much looked down upon by FMC, which is the same people that look
Faction
down on
management
you.
team. Yeah.
No, so there's faction management, public, faction management council.
Oh, council.
So what
Okay.
Mercer council is like the big boys, the
Mm.
daddies, um, of faction management of all factions on the server.
Don't look at your
Illegal.
WhatsApp. That was mine. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay. Um, and what Mercer did was uh this is why I always give this example and say um the story about Mercer because he made a screenshot thread. I didn't believe in him, honestly. I didn't believe in him. He made a screenshot thread, proved everything, and then when he started building that reputation, he didn't even get staff. Mercer didn't even get staff. Um, what he did was he showed that he had like he kind of mastered the gray area. Does that make sense? He kind of mastered not mastered, but he grasped Mercer grasped a lot of he got a grip of how that gray area worked because what he role played was kind of like a syndicate thing, like something like
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And what he did was he made that screenshot thread, built his reputation up, um, and then hang on, fuck,
But
back
that's
to.
that's my problem in general. That you have
But
to
that's just
master,
how it is. That's just how it is.
and
If
that's
you want
why
to
I'm
do
trying to
something,
fight that. That's literally why I'm
uh,
trying to fight that. I'm trying to
that's not.
see. You do you think I have
That's
no chance with fighting that?
um.
Honestly.
Let me think. Let me think. Yeah, I don't think you have a chance. I'll be honest because that's just how not me for staff, but that's just the community as a whole. You have to because everyone's busy, you know. No,
Yeah.
people aren't gonna literally change up the whole system
Well, again,
to
this isn't
testing.
this isn't focused on LSRP. We're not trying to change LSRP at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I
If
didn't mean
we're gonna
LSR.
create a new community from the ground up, based around the idea that everybody should be treated equally, and we shouldn't punish people for breaking rules that don't exist yet, which is what happened to me multiple times. If we build
Um,
it from the ground up with those ideals in mind, do you think I have a chance?
um, the only way, and I'll be dead ass honest with you, Userone, is if you join the staff team You can laugh if you join a staff team, ever get high up. I just if you build or if you build a
We're talking
really
about
really
building a new community. We don't care about LSRP.
okay
We don't
okay
care about LSRP.
okay. Um, obviously servers work different. Yeah, that could work, man. That could work.
Okay.
Obviously I've only ever played LSRP and
I
like some
understand,
other
yeah.
stuff.
I play LSRP most of the time because
Like I can't
even
say
with all the bullshit that I have to deal with on LSRP, I still believe it to be the best option right now for role playing. And they genuinely did put in a lot of work and passion into making it's a good server, and they actually listen to my appeals some of the times, which I appreciate. I genuinely appreciate. Like for example, that
yeah.
example I brought up earlier with me getting banned on my birthday. They unbanned me an hour afterwards after they realized I actually had a justification. Did they ever clarify what I did wrong or if I did something wrong? I mean, I made a video about it. They pretty much told me, and this is a quote. It's both. You didn't do anything wrong and you did everything wrong. That's a quote. That's something they told me. And what lesson am I supposed to take out of it? What am I supposed to change about my behavior going forward to make sure it doesn't happen in the future? Nothing, because it doesn't tell me anything.
Um,
And that's my problem. I cannot
and this
learn
was for
from
the this was for when you
got
the
banned
the
on my
pension thing.
birthday because I shut up a bunch of people who were busting into my house.
In my opinion, I don't know who banned you, and this is from me. Um, I don't think you did anything wrong.
Okay.
Um, just
Well,
from the administrator's point
just
of view,
some
what
context
he
though.
did,
Okay,
yeah.
I literally, I believe I report that issue to, I believe I report the administrator as well because I did not get a clear answer, and I don't believe even the higher administration gave me a clear answer. I'm looking now through my inboxes, and I still to this day don't have a clear answer on whether I did something wrong or whether I didn't do something wrong. So
Only if you got banned by Mercer, man, he would have unbanned you in like 10 seconds. Anyway,
that's the
um,
problem. People's punishments are dependent not on what they did, but on the admins that are issuing the
bro, we're
punishments.
humans. We're
I
not
understand that.
robots.
What if we create a system though where it's more strict? Then people that are playing the game can have a better time because they see, oh, I did this, I got punished this way. Okay, my brother did this, he also got punished the same way. Okay, justice is in place. When they see, oh, I did this, I got punished this way, but my brother did this, the same exact thing, and he didn't get punished, then they see, okay, there's no point in playing this server because clearly people are getting willy nilly punishments. You
Okay,
see what I mean?
okay, okay. Can you give me an example of something like that?
Okay, well, I
Not
get.
the birthday party one doesn't really apply because he realized that oh he didn't actually mess the M and then
Yeah, yeah,
unbanned you.
that's no, no.
But
I
like
understand. No, again, at the same time, yeah, I understand that. At the
if you
time,
know
I think,
anyone that you don't want to tell their names, just DM me the.
I think there needs to be a separation between what administrator does in the moment and what gets done in the long term about the situation. Just like with police, there is some discretion. Police officers can make mistakes. They detain somebody, and then when they find out that the person is actually innocent, they can release. Because we don't know the truth. We don't know the truth. All we know is what we can sense. We can see things with our eyes. We can smell things. We can read things. We don't know what is actually happening. It could be all deception. It could be misleading information based from a certain perspective. I can understand that, but in the long term, we should look at what actually happened. At least with all the exact evidence that we have, we can all everything that we can prove, and even if it looks like somebody did
But
something,
aren't you able to kind of
I can't. But the problem is with LSRP. Here's an example. Do you remember the situation where Michelle Jefferson shot somebody for stabbing somebody else, and yeah,
yeah.
I appealed that punishment through every administrator that said I did wrong, all the way up to server management, and I still got told that I did wrong. Yet the half of the
So
community,
so 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 you had a CCW and
I did not
yeah
have a
you had
CCW at that time. My character
oh okay
lost it because
okay I'm gonna be
she flew
honest
a
with you bro.
helicopter under 800 feet.
I'm gonna be honest with you bro.
I do want to. I
You
do want to. Sorry, I do want to bring up in the context before you be honest with me that she was an avid self-defense enthusiast who posted like instructions on how to safely use a firearm on social media. Who had a firearms license before she lost it for a non-violent felony for flying a helicopter under 800 feet. Uh, which has nothing to do with a firearms license. By the way, she can still legally fly aircrafts, which because she's technically a felon, she can't use firearms. And I just want to put that all in context. To which why I
okay?
believe, and the only reason my character shot at an active stabber who was actively stabbing someone else in the street is because she believes that nobody deserves to die. And if somebody is
Okay, okay.
trying to take somebody's life from somebody else when they're not being an active threat to them, then she has the right to stop that active threat. That's
All right.
why I
Okay. Okay.
believe,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
and a lot of people agreed with me when I started the thread. So I just want to bring that context before you
Okay.
be honest with me.
Okay.
But I do want
No,
to hear
I,
your
I,
opinion.
okay. So, as a one wise man, Owen Foley and Declan Ray once said, the game will never, the game will never be one for one to reality because you have to limit. Because if this was allowed, okay, if it was allowed to, um, like say someone goes shooting someone, and then you go killing them, it could blow up into something and roll up into a snowball into something that would be way worse.
But
Um,
so what instead happens is right now anybody can stab anybody in the street, and do you if it's in the ghetto,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You
and
leave
that's fine.
illegal.
Yeah, and
That's
nobody's
what you
allowed to
have to
stop
do.
them. Nobody's allowed to stop them
Nope,
unless they
nope.
are a police
I'll be
officer
honest,
or
bro.
if
No,
they're
because
in the
it's the
rodeo.
rules. You can role
It's not the
play.
rules. That's not what it says in the rules. The rules say if you have a sufficient reason to shoot somebody, then you are allowed to shoot somebody. And if it's legal, what my character did then is legal. She legally used that gun. She would have only gotten arrested for the fact that she was in possession of a firearm without a license. She would
So how
not
is
get
that
arrested.
legal?
It's legal
It,
because it's in defense of life. Using a deadly weapon to save
is
somebody's
that
life
in
is
is that
legal.
in the
Yes, I
penal?
can show it
Is
to you. I can show you the
on
actual.
LS?
Yes, yes, yes. I can show. I will paste it. I will show it to you right now in the interview room. It's been legal for years. Let me show you. Hold on. Laws and Acts of San Andreas. Uh, San Andreas Penal Code of 2018. Uh,
Hang on,
Code
Merchant's calling
policy.
me.
Okay,
Hold on.
there you go. Let me paste it in the interview room. This is what it says: private defense,
Can you link me it?
self-defense. It's in the interview room. I can link it to you too.
Link.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
I will send you a direct link to the code policy. I'll post the link in the interview room. There you go. You can go there. You can see it. It's exactly what it says, and it's based on a real law that is in place.
Hold up,
Everybody
sorry.
has the right to defend a life. It's a human right recognized by the United States, United Nations, and it's even recognized in Russia. I live in Latvia, which borders Russia. It's an Eastern European country that used to be a part of USSR. We have that right. I have the right to use whatever means necessary to defend my life and the life of another person.
Okay. Um. Okay. And then can you show me the rules? Like OC wise.
Yeah, I can. The rule
Oh, I'll
is
just look it
very
up myself.
vague. Yeah,
I'll just look it
it's
up
very
myself.
vague, but I believe I actually posted it already before in this game. All it says is without sufficient reason you can't kill, basically. Everything else in there talks about revenge killing. It's too vague. That is my point. It's too vague. This is the only relevant part of it. There you go. Killing another person without sufficient roleplay reason, death matching is not allowed. Then it talks about unnecessary provoking. That's all it is. There are
Okay.
no
Can I? I'm gonna
examples.
DM you something. I'm gonna DM you something.
So it's
Or
like private. You don't want me to show it on stream?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. I'd like to see that. Sure. I'm gonna add you so you couldn't DM me. But yeah, my problem is that it's too vague. It's all up to admin's interpretation, which can, my character didn't do anything illegal aside for possession of a firearm, which is a misdemeanor. She acted to save another person's life, and that's it. And apparently
Okay.
there's a problem with that. Even to this day. Even to I reported the admin. I reported the admin that told me that I shouldn't have reported the admin. I went all the way up the chain of command to the server management. And they all told me I was wrong. I believe I even reported one of the server managements to another server management, and they still told me it was wrong. So it's not an issue of an admin being biased at the time. I don't mind admin having some kind of a bias at the time. I understand that they are human, that they make mistakes. That is fine by me. But if in the long term we look at all the evidence, we do not have enough, and they admitted to me that they did not have enough reason to prove that I acted with malicious intent, and that's what
They
they
told you
put.
that?
Yes, I have a PM that they told me
Okay,
that they
check your
did not.
DMs and then send me
Yeah,
a screenshot,
I
bro.
will. I will send you the screenshot right away.
Check your DMs quick.
Let me get it. Let me get it for you. Okay, where was it? There you go. So let me DM you right now. So this is what he sent me. This was a response to.
I have to be really.
Let me show you the response. Let me show you. So this was a response to this.
Okay, give me some time to read this, bro. I can't read. I'm
Okay.
bad at reading. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Doesn't really have to be reading. Um, and the quote is the person, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I was banned because not banned, but admin jail for 15 minutes because which limits me from being able to join LSPD for a month, and it also means that every time the administrator will look at a vague case in the future, they will see that DM and they will go, "Oh, you've DM'd in the past, so we're gonna punish you this time because clearly you were just doing it again." And what?
So in my opinion,
Right?
and I'll be honest with you, and you're probably gonna smile when you hear this. Um, that is the admin's opinion. Personally, I'm not an admin, but I know my ins and outs of rules. I wouldn't have AJL'd you there. I'll be honest.
That is my
And
problem. One admin is gonna
and
admin jail you, another admin is not gonna admin jail you.
it's
It's too
opinions.
vague. Yes, that is exactly why I founded the roleplay union. Why I'm trying to get rid of that vagueness, so that there are more clear cases. So it's not so.
I don't think it's more, and I know it sounds bad,
The
but it's more used in positive than negative. And if seen in negative, I can assure you, dude, I can assure you, and people have been removed for this. If they use their opinion as an administrator in a negative way, they are dealt with. And I'm telling you, I can't tell you how, but I'm telling you, they're dealt with. Okay? It
well,
doesn't
I
really.
reported all of these administrators up to the civil management, and I'm still told that I'm in the wrong. Nobody was dealt with. So
Sorry, can you
what
say that
you're
again? You
telling
cut
me,
out.
I reported every single administrator that has told me I was wrong up to the server management, and they all told me I was wrong. Nobody was dealt with. There was nothing.
Server management told you that you were wrong.
Yes, I went all the way up to I believe it was first I met to Martin, then I reported it to Surreal. Let me just double check. I think I have the whole thing here. So I went. Yeah, I reported to. Okay, then the report. I first reported to Surreal, and that's it. Okay, so I reported the point. Basically, the highest point of management I had was Surreal, and he told me that, uh, you know, that. Oh no, he forwarded it to West Side's handler.
Okay.
Okay.
You just said his name, dumbass. Nice.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid
Uh,
doing that. I'm trying to avoid doing that. Please don't
yeah,
reach
yeah.
out to these administrators and listen. Okay, let me clarify something. I have a problem with the way they're handling it, but they haven't broken any rules. Okay, I'm making it clear. They can kick, ban, jail anybody. They have the liberty to do so. I just feel like if you handle the server that way, then people are gonna get frustrated. and the
Okay.
rules should be more
Okay.
strict for
Okay.
administrators.
So what? Obviously, I'm not management. Okay. I'm just the tester. I'm chilling. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just handle apps. Um, from a management point of view, I'm gonna and think about it. Really think about it. Okay. I'm gonna see that what the how the fuck do I say this? Okay, scratch that. Um,
It's a difficult topic. It's a complicated issue. I agree with you on that.
dude, I'll be honest with you. I've not talked smart in a while. I just play Fortnite. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's
Um,
fine. Yeah, I mean,
uh,
the, I understand that in this world, reputation matters more than the truth, and people judge each other not by necessarily what they really mean, not necessarily by their intent, but by what they see. And that's understandable because that's all they see themselves. That's all they know about that person. And in the short term, that's fine by me. But in the long term, when all the evidence is on the table, clearly contradicting the fact that I had intentions to DM that person, why am I still admin jailed for clearly intending to DM somebody when it's not clear whether or not that was the intention?
okay. Again. For the long term. Okay, let's talk long term.
Yeah.
Big things. Okay. What happened to you is not common. It's not. And as more often you think as it is, opposing it to the people that actually get jailed for the bro. I don't talk smart. I just play Fortnite. So how do I say this? Um.
Well, just say anything you want. You don't need to talk smart. Just
Okay.
make your point.
So so you're AJL, yeah. I wouldn't have AJL you for that. Okay. But the oh fuck's sake, bro. Okay. So the people that actually get AJL, say you got banned for or AJL for DM, yeah. The people that actually get AJL, the ratio to where people get AJL for, in your case, to where they actually get AJL for DM is actually very vast, and this isn't common. It's not common. I'm actually looking through the list of admins right now, and I can tell you that like almost all of them, they wouldn't they wouldn't do
Well,
what happened to you, and I'm being dead ass honest here.
okay. Your statement right now, it doesn't have any value because it's not backed by any evidence. And I'm also being honest with you, okay? It's
Okay.
your perspective. I appreciate your perspective. It
But I'm being like I actually get along
it actually
with
it
I
actually
hope
no
with
no
you.
no it does have hold value. The fact that you said that you wouldn't have jailed me and anybody you know wouldn't have jailed you, it points out the discrepancy between administrators punishing people. My
Yeah, but
issue
like I
is
said, the
that
majority, right?
yeah, okay, my issue is that even though it's not a case that's common, it shouldn't be, nobody was held accountable for it. Nobody nothing happened. I'm still that admin jail is still on my record. There's no way for me to appeal that. It's just there. I've gone through all the steps possible for me to appeal that. I went to the server management. They all declined me, even though there isn't in fact enough evidence to prove that I am guilty. Now you said about most of the people that get admin jailed are actually guilty of their admin jails. I agree with you, but in criminal law, there's something known as a Blackstone's ratio. Okay, Blackstone's ratio, and it is as follows: it is better that 10 guilty persons escape than that one innocent suffer.
Okay.
Do you
Yeah,
see what I mean?
that's a valid thing, and
Because a guilty person is eventually
that is
gonna
absolutely
either make up
that is
their
absolutely
act,
true.
either they're gonna start acting appropriately, or they're gonna mess up so much that we're gonna have enough evidence to prove that they're actually intending to be guilty. Uh,
Okay, so here's what you're gonna do, iDux. I mean, not iDux.
News
User
one,
one.
yeah.
Um, when this happens again, um,
When this happens again, I'm just gonna be content with it because I understand that they have the right to
no,
banish anybody.
no, bro, why
It's,
are you
it's
talking
been
to me?
5 years. I've been fighting it for 5 years. They have made it very
Eh,
clear to me that they can just add me jail, kick, and ban anybody they don't like.
No, no,
Yes,
no,
they
no.
can.
Not now.
It's
I'm
a
not gonna D.
fact. It's a
I'm.
fact of life that they can admin jail, kick,
Oh
and
my god.
ban anybody. What did you want? What suggestions you have for me?
Um, when this happens again, link this. Link this video. You don't. Hello? Huh?
Oh my god, I shouldn't laugh. Oh, I'm sorry. I've been messaging administrators. I've been reporting them anytime I felt like I was
Mercer, you
unfairly
seen
treated.
this? Mercer, Royal Duck. Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello? Mercer, hello? I mean,
Mercer?
user one, hello?
Hello,
Fuck,
can you
sorry.
hear me? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. What
What
I'm
was that
s-
laugh for? Did you pull in like a
I just,
Pennywise type shit?
yeah, I just found what you said really humorous. That you think that me sending them this video is gonna have any impact at all. Because I've made discussions that got literally shut down immediately after I promoted them. From my point of view, I am way past trying to change LSRP. I am way past it. Obviously, I'm going to
Oh,
report any wrongdoing, and I'm going to report any administrator that I feel like is gonna, an administrator that I feel like has overstepped their boundaries with me. I'm going to keep doing that, absolutely. But linking this video is not going to be productive to them at all. Because clearly that's not how they run their server. They run their server differently. They run their server based on reputation. And that's fine if that's what they want to do. They can do that. I understand that. I'm just saying it may not be the most efficient way to do that, and maybe I'll try and experiment and see if I
but
can do it differently.
if you know the saying, do you know the saying? If it works, why change it?
Well, does it work? Because people are leaving
Yeah,
LSRP hating it. People are
I feel
DMing
like
on
people are
LSRP.
leaving. I feel like people are leaving LSRP for other reasons.
Well,
Okay.
that's not what they told me in the first interview or the second interview. They told me they were frustrated with Los Santos roleplay.
You know it's gonna be bias user one. Cop out.
Well, we understand that human bias exists. I understand that. Yeah, that's why I'm
I,
looking
these
at both
people that talk to
sides.
you, I can literally tell you that if you want to, I'll be honest with you. If you want
Okay?
to DM me a list of the people, I'll literally tell you
Cheesy the
with
Nerd.
evidence. What
Cheesy
did he
the
say?
Nerd told me that the administrators are biased on LSRP.
Cheesy, bruv. I love you, Cheesy. What did he say?
He told me that there is clearly a bias going on in the administration team, that administrators are being held accountable. Watch the first interview
For
for misdeeds, for,
their distraction, discretion in
yeah,
punishment.
yeah.
Um,
Go look. I can link you the first highlights video from the first week. That's what he told me.
he said that there's a bias.
Yeah, it's literally called administrator bias.
Yo, do you want to like get a cup of water or something, man? Because it sounds like your voice is going away.
It's because I'm sick. I have a cold.
You might want to get like a cup of tea or something.
Yeah, I
Snuggle.
ran out of tea. Look, feel free to look at that video. I was gonna take more people in, but honestly, like my conversation with you, I think it was productive enough. I think we got the
Yeah,
perspective from you. Have you learned anything from this discussion?
yeah, man. The law thing. What'd you say? The black something?
The Blackstone's ratio.
Yeah, that one hit me, bro. That one hit me.
Yeah, it's better
So
to let 10 guilty people free than to punish one innocent person.
okay.
You
So
genuinely agree with that?
yeah,
So, but what it means is we need enough evidence to prove a wrongdoing, an intent that somebody was wrongdoing, much like they're doing it in court in real life. And some people might say, "You're taking it so seriously. It's a video game." Well, they are taking it seriously themselves. So, I mean, it's a hardcore roleplay, so we're taking this stuff seriously. I'm glad that
uh,
I think we all learned something today. I've learned something from your perspective. You talked about how what your opinion is, and I acknowledge that point of view. I do acknowledge it, and I
yeah, yeah,
definitely see the reasoning why admins do these things. I'm not saying they're being unreasonable or whatever. I'm just saying that maybe there's a way we can do it so that people don't get frustrated, so that people get punished equally, and so that administrators have enough evidence to prove that somebody is, committing a wrongdoing before actually punishing them.
yeah.
At
Right.
least in
Okay.
the long term. In short term, I
Okay.
understand if it looks like somebody breaking a rule, punish them and have them explain themselves. But in the long term, at the very least, we should have a system in place where the innocent people go free and only like the proven guilty people get punished.
Okay. Um. Okay. I'm trying to find a verified discussion just to leave you with it.
Okay.
Uh.
Because my
I can't
verified
find it.
discussion about when is it okay to kill, talking about the DM rule that I was punished for, it got shut down immediately after I promoted it with the video
Okay. Okay.
talking
So
about it.
I've learned, especially that law thing from you. Okay. Um. I hope you've learned something from me.
I have. I
Um.
definitely have. I appreciate you coming here, giving me your perspective. That's why I'm looking at perspective of many people. I understand that I'm a human being as well. And all human beings are imperfect, they make mistakes. So I can be wrong too. If you can present me evidence that I'm wrong, I will look at it and I will go, oh, I'm wrong. But,
Okay. Okay. So I can't really find a thing. What I was gonna say
okay.
was
Maybe, you know what? Feel free to join the roleplay union and make a suggestion in the suggestion box because we talk about the top rated suggestions every week on this show here. I'm gonna have to end it
Okay.
now because we were supposed to end like 12 minutes ago. But thank you
Alright.
so much for coming, and thank you everybody else
Okay.
for.
Wait. Use one. Use
Yeah,
one.
yeah, what you have.
I know you don't allow it, but I've had so many people DMing me, and I'm gonna
No,
ask with respect. Can I?
don't shout people out. No.
Why?
Because it's not allowed. Because people are coming in here, they're gonna DM, they're gonna shout people
No,
out,
they're
and
not.
it's not.
No, they're not DMers or
No,
whatever.
no DM, but like they're gonna shout people out, and
Uh,
the whole concept of roleplay unit is that I enforce rules equally to everybody. So if you're
no,
gonna
this is
shout
just for
people
like
out
just an
after
intro.
I want you, you're gonna get banned on roleplay union. I'm just warning you right now.
Uh,
But you will be able to appeal. So if you want to go through that, feel free.
okay. Will you let me? Yeah.
I'm not
Let
letting
me,
you.
dude. Just allow it for
I'm
once.
not. The point is that we treat everybody equally. We agreed that strict
Oh
rules.
yeah. Okay. Okay. By the way, I feel like you, if you really want to talk factions, I'm not. I'm not.
Okay. Well, look.
I'm not. Okay. Hang on. I'm
Make
gonna.
make
I'll
the.
DM you after the stream.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm gonna have to end the stream now. Thank you guys so much for
Alright,
coming.
Kiwi.
Thank you. Did you shout somebody out?
No, I said alright, Kiwi.
What?
Huh?
Okay, look. Whatever. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and make sure you come make suggestions. And yes, like I said, we are accepting. Who are we accepting? We are accepting applications for staff. So if you look at announcements, there it is. There's a form right here. Make a form. I'll have a look at it tomorrow, and we'll interview some people.
Goodbye,
So
everybody.
yeah, we can moderate the server and actually get some progress. Thank you, Cinda. Is that your name?
Yeah,
Cinda.
yeah.
Thank you for coming. Hope you have a great day and
Alright, goodbye,
stay
goodbye.
awesome.